So I was just reading an article about obesity, and it was saying that within the United States, 1 out of every 10 children is obese.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people view obesity as not a negative term because could be part of the culture. So some cultures view having overweight children or people as a sign of affluence.
Mm-hmm.
But as we know in this country, obesity has increased a lot of other complications medically for people,
Right.
and it's the second leading cause of preventable death
Right.
now. Where do you think this epidemic from obesity is emerging from, and what are the things that we can do to try to improve upon it?
More important than where it's come from is what to do about it,
Okay.
right? So, I'm gonna use psychological terms that I think I'm using correctly.
Mm-hmm.
We have what's called the limbic system
Mm-hmm.
in our brain, which I believe is the lizard brain, right? Which is fight or flight, seeks to win in a fight or flee and escape, which also seeks to hoard. So essentially, when people get stressed, when there's a negative thing in their life, they find comfort within food. I do this myself, right? Everyone has done it. Every person has done it. Even if you're a really fit person, there are periods at which you've been stressed and you've just eaten and eaten a lot, right? The problem is when that itself becomes a habit. And habits are very, very slippery slopes. And the slope is like this. It's like you don't notice it's a slope. But you go, and notice. Soon you're here. And the decline is like, it's still so slight. But stay on it long enough and you literally then look like a different person. And you assume that this is who you are. And it doesn't need to be. So, to handle the problem, it's all individual by individual. There's no societal program we can do that's going to eradicate this thing. Because societies are made up of individuals. To eradicate it is to be able to take the pain that comes with eating less or exercising more. I know from firsthand experience that those can be very pain-inducing things. But when you're stuck in a painful, stressed, maybe traumatized perspective or personality, you don't actually want to leave it, right? So I've repeatedly been telling people today meaning in the last week, repeatedly, this is relevant to my life now, the most impactful moments of my life are the ones I spend with my trainer, my physical trainer. It's not the music, it's not my tennis, it's what I do with the trainer. Because every time I go in feeling bad, I'm forced to work. I'm forced to physically move. And then within 30 minutes of our 1-hour session, I feel a lot better every single time. And even if my body isn't working as I want it to, even if I need a push and it's extremely painful, I have now developed resilience. I have developed pain tolerance, right? So to put it simply, to get rid of obesity, one needs to first realize that there's a problem. And second of all, take the steps and take the pain associated with those steps. And it's short-term pain. When you make the mental choice that I'm going to change, and then you go on that path, you may redredge traumas from childhood as you're exercising and your body's telling you to stop. As you want to eat, 5 things when you should eat 3. When you want to eat those extra 2, you feel like I should reward myself. I feel I need this, but you don't. And you should be able to divorce yourself from the negative feeling that's going to crush you at that last moment when you're pushing into a boundary you didn't previously have. When that pain is able to be handled, it goes away. It goes away. It could take 5 minutes, it could take 2 days, but it goes away. People's systems are developed or are built so that they can become infinitely strong, say like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like an athlete, or they can become infinitely not strong, right? It just depends on what's going on internally and how you then respond. And habits, it's not inherent. This is not an inherent thing. These are habits. You can train the habits, and you can train the response and tolerance to pain. So now, to give you concrete examples, I have a friend who was very heavy in college. We all knew him as that guy, right? Within 6 months, he lost like 60 pounds or 100 pounds, something insane. I said, how? He said, well, I started eating 2 meals a day and I run twice a day. It completely changed his life. It changed his very physical being. Me personally, I used to be 182 pounds. I'm 147 now. I was just eating a lot and I wasn't exercising. And then when those things changed, I slimmed down a lot. So the potential to change is pretty infinite, actually. When the mindset changes and you're willing to have pain tolerance, obesity is it's non-existent.
But doesn't it have to do something with the fact that our feelings are temporary? So when we feel something in that moment, maybe you're exercising and it's really hard, you're not feeling the greatest about it, but you know that it's only going to be for a moment and it's going to pass. So don't you think that some of the awareness of understanding that feelings come and go, that you might not want to go to the gym because you don't feel like, don't you think that that's some of the training that has to be done? The mental training, in the sense that you have to tell yourself that it's not just about the way I feel in this moment, it's where I'm trying to get to that matters.
Yes, completely. And no moment will last. The moment of talking is the moment that I started the sentence is already gone. This interview is going to finish. I'm doing fitness after this, actually. That's going to finish, right? Be aware that it all passes. All of it. The pain, the good you feel from eating, the comfort you feel from not exercising, and also the glory that you feel when you conquer it. That's going to pass too. How good you feel when you can run further than you could before, when you're moving the way that human bodies were developed to move, and that all of them were moving, like when we were swinging in the trees. When even that glory, that goes too. And that's actually a more profoundly beautiful thing than anything. But as far as this goes, make the mental shift, take the pain, and then the real pain of needing to reinforce comfort, reinforce traumas, reinforce weaknesses, that goes away. That's the real pain. When that goes away, you're a free person.